All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome back. We missed you all on Wednesday because of me, always doing stuff. But we are back with another relationship reaction video with Maggie and Lucy, part of the Let's Talk series, also available on YouTube podcasts. I am Maggie, Maggie the Substitute Teacher. You may know me for my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. But this lady right here and me are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is an 8-week privately taught course where we teach ladies to be the best versions of themselves in personal development, femininity, elegance, and etiquette. And we just wrapped up our fall 2024 session with a guest speaker, Woman of Elegance, gave us some wonderful teaching on how we present ourselves. So super excited to continue the work. But our community service, what we like to do twice a week, usually with you all, is we come on here and we react to relationship content and give you our perspective. So Lucy, please introduce yourself and let us know, what are we watching this week?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for being here. So I am Lucy. I have as well a channel that focuses mostly on things that impact women over a certain age. And like Maggie, we just finished the fall session of the Finishing School with some beautiful ladies. I think that we are building that community of new women that have those wanting to be feminine, elegant, traditional values that right now is very well needed in this modern world. And the video that I sent you, quite honestly, I don't remember exactly what it is. I do know that it might be a little, I don't know, hard for some to watch. I just watched a little bit, sent it to you right away, and we're gonna react to it together because I haven't seen it yet. But I know that it's a good topic.
All right, everybody. So Lucy has sent us a video from this channel called the Better Bachelor channel. And the name of the title, so you can go ahead and get triggered now, is Don't Let Them Disrespect You or They'll Never Learn. All right. So I'm going to give you all our 2 disclaimers. We are going to play the video and then we are going to pause and interject with our feedback on what we're seeing. This is a collection of videos that a man on the Better Bachelor channel is reacting to. We're going to give you our perspective as 2 older women. Lucy and I combined have over 40 years of marriage experience, and we believe the older women should teach the young. But we have traditional backgrounds. We believe in husband and wife, mom and dad, boy and girl, man and woman. And so that is where our opinion stems from. If you want to do something else, that's totally fine. Just do it over there, because over here you probably won't be happy. If you want to watch the video uninterrupted, as always, I link it in the description so you all can watch the video. So this one's about 20 minutes long. He has an ad in the front, so I'm going to skip over that, and then we're just going to watch this content, give you our feedback. And as always, we'd love to know what you all think. So please give us your opinion in the chat and we'll bring you, into the conversation. Let's go ahead and get started. I will mute myself and share my screen and see what he has to say.
Get yourself a medical emergency kit. The best day in the world is a day you don't need it. The worst day in the world is when you need it and you don't have it. So, but it's not just with these old clucking hens. It's all throughout society. But anyway, again, this is a random video. So I'm going to have just a bunch of shit in here I want to complain about.
I am 41 years old, single, without kids, living in a van outside my mom's house. But I'm on the next chapter of my life. I'm currently building a tiny home next door, like literally next door to my mom. This is my tiny home I'm building, and it's literally next door to my mom's house. This is my mom. Mom, you happy that I'm moving next door?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this full screen just for fun. Look at the tiny house she's building. What is that? I don't know what all this is, but there's boards scattered all over the place and some oddly cut plywood and a tarp laying on the ground. And look, look, two women. Look at her yard. Two women, and all this yard is weeds and patches of dirt. They can't even take care of a yard. We don't need men. We don't need men. Screw men. And she's divorced and she's 41 and she's living in a van down by the river, down by her mom's house. Now, she's attractive. I actually might go so far as to say she's pretty. She doesn't have children, I'm guessing, living in a van. So, although he says mom is wondering, her mother's wondering where she went wrong. So here you've got a 41-year-old woman. She's good looking. She's not fat. I don't know if she did her makeup for this, but I know a whole ton of dudes that would be like, I'd love a woman that looks like that. Her TikTok name is Ann's Van. So it sounds like she's pretty committed to the van life. Why is she single? Because she's insufferable. Because she left a man. And I've got more videos that explain why women leave good men. Because they're bored. I actually have another Rich Cooper one here. He's been on a banger recently, so he had a couple good posts. Divorce.
All right, y'all, let's get in here with this first one. I have a couple of thoughts. The first thing, ladies, for any of the ladies that are watching, if you want to share, you don't have to share, but if you saw that tiny house, let me know who is running to live in those type of conditions. For all of us who say we don't need the men, I can do everything a man can do. I'll speak for myself, reformed modern woman. And I didn't notice the yard until the commentator pointed it out. And it looked like almost like a construction dump site. And, again, do what you want to do, live where you want to live. But for me, what this emphasizes is how much men do just in maintenance, just in keeping things going, just in keeping the world going, keeping everything from becoming the bush, the jungle, the wild nature that it will if it's not tamed and tended to. I am so grateful for the men in my life and the men that keep the environment that I'm in warm and cozy. So that's the first thing that I noticed. She's trying to do it herself. That's fine. Good luck to her. The second thing is, he mentioned, yes, this is an attractive woman. She's basically homeless. Her mom did not look very pleased at all. Maybe y'all want to do this compound life. I've heard that. Maybe y'all want to do that Golden Girls life. I don't. I do believe it will eventually get better. Lucy and I were talking before the stream. But unfortunately, ladies, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And mark it on the wall, as my parents say. I think my generation and older, this next 10 to 20 years, I think we're going to see a lot of women in their 40s and 50s struggling. Maybe they're already struggling and pretending like everything's okay. But ladies, nobody is coming to rescue us. And if you have not prioritized relationships, you are going to get older. And I don't think we are able to create the type of life that we want to enjoy. So be careful. If you don't think that you need a man, that could be your future. What do you say, Lucy?
I agree. And when he showed that, now I remember which video this is. When he showed that tiny home, it brought back memories about that story I told you about my idea of a she shed. When I told my husband that I wanted the she shed and I had some random idea that I wanted. And then he sat me down and he said, your idea of a she shed is completely a different idea than what I think of a she shed. He was thinking about, how are the walls going to be brought up? The air conditioning when it gets hot, the cold, the heating when it gets hot. So those are things that, yeah, we can think about a van life. Things are great, but you don't realize that real life is completely different than what you see a woman showing a van life, but she doesn't show you the surroundings. It might look great, but how do you go to sleep in some random place without any kind of protection? Again, that goes back to how we women sometimes have that just random thinking without thinking about the long-term repercussions. And this is a perfect example of, a woman that thought, oh, she's going to live a van life. But all of a sudden, she's back with her mom building a tiny shed. So it's not all about van life. So again, it's one of those things that when she realized that it's the van life is not that good, now she's thinking about a tiny home. So again, it's those kind of things that it's, you know, we women are pretty scattered thinking.
Yes, and I'll just say this, and I'm going to come to the condemned comments. Out of his mouth, the commentator said, she's actually pretty. But ladies, here's an example. That pretty is not helping you. I've always said I am happily average, but a lot of women who bank on their looks as getting them to a certain place in life, she's 41 and basically homeless, even though she's pretty. So the pretty is great, but if you don't have the relationship skills to back it up, you too might find yourself homeless in a van. The condemned says, it always amazes me when objectively attractive women get to such a late age, but still single. Her mom is clearly upset. Adult children shouldn't be a burden on their parents. That's such a good point. That's one of the things that I work on every day, not only to be not a burden on my parents, but not a burden on my children. As much as we talk, ladies, all this education, all these accomplishments that we have, are you truly independent, or do you need someone to rescue you? Let's continue on.
Her husband 2 years ago and crying about the decision. Let's listen into Miss Thing here.
Divorce is really hard. I thought I could talk about this. I didn't realize how raw it was. And I did not expect fucking having a New York City office that I'm commuting into to stir up all of these feelings. I thought I was so past this. I moved out 2 years ago.
Now this is 3 minutes long. I don't need to do all 3 minutes of this. You guys see what's happening. It's the grass is always greener. It's always better. I feel like I'm suffocating. I see these other women dating these tall, handsome, attractive men, and my guy's got a little bit of a beer belly now because he's getting a little older. I don't want him anymore. I'm ready for the new adventure. I need the tingles and the butterflies. And then they go out and they date. Nobody wants them. And then they miss the good old days. I wish I could go back. It's the story old as time. And you guys can, it's very easy to say, well, dude, you've done 100 videos on this. Yep. I could do 1,000 more, 10,000 more, 100,000 more, 1,000,000 more. And women will never learn. You guys have learned. You guys have learned so much so that a lot of guys are like, I'm kind of done with red pill content. Like, I got it. I'm good. I'll check in every once in a while to check the craziness, but I'm good, dude. That's because men get it. And you understand now, you just turn in for the laugh factor and the ability to make fun of this stuff. The women don't learn. They don't learn. Generation after generation, they're not learning. You can see the replies to all these things.
All right, that one's a little hard to hear, but ladies, we have to do better. What he said about the men have pretty much checked out, I didn't realize it. I'm kind of new in this space and my eyes were wide open, but the more I talk to men, they're like, oh yeah, Maggie, we deal with that with women all the time. So here's the lesson, especially young ladies, hear me. You can learn from your own experiences, yes, but it's better if you learn from other experiences so you don't waste your own time and go through this pain. The men have been watching, they have seen this either in their own relationships or with their mothers or their aunts or their sisters. And men have, I know nobody likes the word settling, but men have an ability that I think we women struggle with, where men can really accept reality. Most of the men that I talk to are very much realists, even if it's not in their favor, but they accept it. We women, I don't know if it's the optimism in us, or we're just naturally chaotic, but we really think, like Kevin Samuels used to say, I'm that special snowflake. I'm a 10, but you got me. That's not good enough, ladies. So heed the warning. If relationships are important to you, you're going to have to put in the work. It's not enough to just say, well, my situation will be different. Believe me, it won't. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, men have pretty much checked out. They realized that the modern woman in the Western world, unfortunately, is a different type of woman, and they don't want part of that. And it's so sad. So hopefully the younger women are going to start watching those older women, and they're and where their life is at this point, and say, yeah, that's not really what I want. I want to see, a good family with a husband, with children, in my home, and my white picket fence, and keep it that way. And again, and I think that what these women don't realize is that marriage is not only, the butterflies and, the rainbows, and you're always going to have a passion for that man that you had on the first week that you knew him. Things get pretty, I don't know, boring for those that want to call it. For me, it's uneventful. And you get to a point where uneventful is good. You have my husband is working in the backyard right now. If you hear my dogs barking, it's because he's back there. But he's doing his own thing. He's cleaning the backyard. So you saw that woman's backyard, that it was a mess. It's his is it's his meditation time, and he loves it. I take it to the lemonade. I take his little sandwich out there, and that's how it is. Life in a married life is just that uneventful, and that is good.
It is so good. And Lucy talked about marriage and expectations. And ladies, like I always say, if your mother did not teach you how to be a good woman to a good man, or if you did not have the example, one of the reasons why Lucy and I have the perspective that we do is that we were raised in traditional home. Our origin comes from seeing that example. So if you think marriage and long-term relationship is what you see on TV or social media, and it's always something glamorous, it is not. But like Lucy said, we have learned to appreciate the mundane and that consistency. That's what a man brings. Men have to be consistent to survive. We are the chaotic ones. Don't believe me? Fine. You can learn the hard way, but we are biologically different. So if you are relationship minded and you did not get the tools, we have a new class, all new material, starting next Saturday, a week from today. It's called Wife Archetypes. It's 4 weeks of wife lessons. Workbooks have gone out, but it may still be time for you to get yours. Lucy and I will teach it live, 3 p.m. Saturdays. It's a Saturday school, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to cover what real relationship skills are. And then you can assess yourself and see where you're being successful and where you are not. All right, let's go back in and then I'll come to the comments.
The replies are ridiculous. I know what you guys are going to say the minute this video is done, but let's check on Miss Thing here, who's trying to do a very basic, simple task of what looks like putting on 2 screws into a hole, into this piece of wood, and she needs a simple Allen wrench to put it in. And she's really struggling with it.
I don't need a man. I'm independent. No, stop. We are not independent. You are, not me. Does it look like I want to use this tiny tool and use on this tiny screw driving this? No. Nope. I need a man. Let them do it for me. This is not how I want to spend 3 hours of my life.
So it's 3 hours of her life she needs to put in, I don't know, 4 screws, bolts through a piece of metal into wood. What do you think, guys? 20 seconds if you pause to take a sip of your coffee to do that? And this is what I find so infuriating about this stuff. She doesn't want a man because she wants to be loved. She doesn't want a man for any other reason other than she doesn't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want somebody else to do this for me because I'm entitled and I'm lazy and I just don't want to do this. I need a man because I want him to do this for me. And then when the guy says, okay, what are you going to do for me? Like if we're going to do the quid pro quo, okay, what are you going to do for me? While I'm fixing this, while I'm putting this together for you, would you fix me a sandwich? Would you start cooking dinner? That would be a fair trade. Hey, honey, I'll go out and wash your car. I'll check the oil and make sure the air in the tires is all good. Just give you a quick, maybe polish the headlights because they're getting a little foggy. I'll do that. Would you do me a favor tonight for dinner? Could you cook me a badass steak? Maybe some potatoes, twice baked potatoes, a little garlic and cheese on them, and a side of, I don't know, carrots or corn or something or other. Would you do that while I go do the thing on the car? Women used to be like, of course. Or the woman was going to cook dinner and she said, my car's giving me a problem. The guy goes, I got it. No problem, honey. You know, I'll, and the guy's happy to do it. La, la, la. I love my wife. She's so good to me. I'm going to be good to her. and I make sure that she's safe and she can see at night by polishing those headlights, and her tires are good so she doesn't have a blowout, and the oil's good so she doesn't ruin the engine and cost me $5,000 to replace it. Everything's good. And she's in there cooking. I love my husband. He's so good to me. He's taking care of the car. That's hard, dirty work. But this is so easy for me because it's just throwing a few things in a pot. We had a great arrangement. And then the women came in and said, I want you to do things for me, and I'm not going to do anything for you. But you get my presence. You get my presence because I'm cute. And I walk around in a tank top without a bra. And so you're attracted to me. And that's why you do things for me. But she would also only date a Chad. So she's also only attracted to him. So the being there for each other is the same. The being attractive for each other is the same. Also, you provide all the money and all the things, and I'll just be here. They're children. They're spoiled children that scream when they don't get the value meal at McDonald's. They're spoiled children. They're tall, sometimes very pretty, annoying. That's what they've become. So many. Not all. I always have to say the not all because I get some mouth breather that comes in and says, actually, some women are, I get it. But more and more are like this because the internet is becoming filled with them. And there's so many men that are walking away.
All right, ladies, we all got our talking to. And if you think this man is being anything but straightforward, you have not had a conversation with a man. This is how men talk, and this is how men talk to their women. So again, if you want a relationship with a real man, I have heard you don't listen, do you? So again, if you get offended, if you get triggered, really think about what you're asking for. I want to unpack a little bit about what he said, and then a little story time from me. Again, this is an attractive woman, as he says, and she's still single and struggling. So again, ladies, the pretty is not going to help you in the real world. Shout out to Lucy and the sandwiches. Y'all know me. I will keep that apron on. I love that. When we talk about traditional gender roles, there are some things that men are just naturally better at. And there are some things that we women are just naturally better at. Can you do things that men find easy to do? Sure. Can men do things that women find easy to do? Sure. But why would you want to take the hard way? Maybe you want to, that's fine. But I always say we are not equal. We are equally valued, and our differences are beautiful. So I love that. Lucy's husband's in the backyard. My man may be, looking around the house. Oh, this needs paint, bringing stuff over. Or I got this view, stuff that I didn't even see. I didn't even know needed tending to. Likewise, if I'm packing lunches, oh, you got a long day, let me make a little extra for you. So when it comes to relationships, ladies, it's not just about receiving, even though we are feminine. My man asked me, so I'm going to ask you, ladies, here's your homework assignment for this week. If you're in a relationship or you have a man, my man said, if that man makes your life easier in any way, ask yourself, how are you making his life easier? And if you're drawing a blank on that, ladies, if you really can't think of any way that you are useful to your man, you are on notice and you are on the clock, and not in a good way. What would you add, Lucy?
I absolutely agree with your man. Exactly. What are you bringing to this man that could probably do everything alone and sometimes better, that will make his life easier? Again, think about, are you a liability or are you an asset? I was thinking about also, he was talking about, those women are children, and the prettier the woman is, the more tantrums they're going to throw if they are told no, because unfortunately that prettiness has allowed them to get to a point where some of those tantrums are going to be okay, but once they find that masculine man that says no, it's not going to be, no matter how many tantrums you take, he's going to say, well, you know what, I better go to somebody else that is more feminine, more elegant, more stable than seeing somebody with a tantrum like that.
That is so true. I want to see what you all are saying in the chat, but that attractiveness. So many women are working on the exterior. And yes, you need to look nice. That's fine. But I love what Lucy said. A lot of pretty women are confused as to why men don't keep them around for long term. They marry more average looking women in your eyes because a man wants agreeableness. A man wants a woman who's unproblematic. A man wants a woman who gets on the program and takes feedback the first time. That's what he wants to live with. And I'm not trying to hurt any feelings, but a lot of times the pretty is what they want to have fun with. So you can assess yourself and look at the outcomes that you're getting. Are you around for a long time or are you around for a fun time? All right, next level says salute to the ladies. Yes, absolutely. Lucy with the sandwiches. I'm bringing lemonade. I'm bringing whatever he needs. You do the tool thing. I will stay in this kitchen. Absolutely. Rodney says marriage and boring are good because it can remove or neutralize the drama of life. That's such a good point. And we've talked about this, ladies, but I think because we are selfish by nature, we don't realize how demanding and challenging a man's life is every day, just to survive, just to compete, just to advance. And if we're being very honest, the men that we are attracted to for marriage, they had to fight and scrap and get it out of the mud and deal with their own demons to get that way. So they want the easy path. Believe me, he did the hard thing before you knew him. All right. You wouldn't be attracted to him if he hadn't. Next level says women wanted equality. Now they have it, and we're still not satisfied. Bert says, call a handyman if all she wants is a man to fix. Yes, ladies, I think about that. I, as a mother, as a boy mom, I listen to the way women talk. And I'm just thinking to myself, do you care that he's a whole person at all? Or do you just want what you want? It has to be your way. We got to go to your restaurant. We got to celebrate the way you want to. Everything has to be about you. Do you even think that he may want something else? Rodney says, why do women think men are simple? We have to be disciplined in order to be masculine, competent, and consistent. Yes, ladies, the masculine man that you are attracted to, there is a dragon underneath there. Believe me, I think men do a very good job, like I said in that viral clip, of checking each other and checking themselves. Because if the men just said, you know what, forget it all, it's not the sight that we want to see. Yeah, he's definitely fed up, the condemned. Lindbergh says majority of modern women are in arrested development. I wish I could disagree, but I talk to women my age and older, and you would think you're talking to a teenager, and they're well over 35, 40 plus. Next level says, when I was young, if a man came by to fix something, a woman always had food, dessert, or money, something to show a man that they're appreciative and not entitled. That right there. Even if we were paying the handyman, my mom would give me the little clinking tray of glasses, Maggie, and go serve the men that are working to show appreciation. You can do something that I can't do. Let's continue on.
Here's another entitled woman. This is a post from Wild Content. It's called Factory Resetting a Karen. Now, how do you factory reset a Karen? Well, first, a Karen gets in your face. And then second, a Karen hits you, which we like to call assault. And then 3, you factory reset a Karen.
Erase that.
Lady, are you crazy? Whoa, lady.
I'll punch the out of you.
Hey, lady, you're crazy.
Erase
Lady. Move, bitch. No, you can't hit me. Yeah, call them. You hit me. I got you.
So she feels it's okay to try to grab someone's phone to demand he erase something that she didn't want him to film. Then she tries to grab it again and again, and then she strikes him. Now say it with me, everybody. I know I'm going to glance over the chat. Equal rights, equal lefts. We know how this goes. But this is entitlement. This is when, I'm not saying women should fear men. I'm not saying women should fear men. Women should damn well respect men, just like men should respect women. He was being respectful to her. She tried to grab his phone. He laughed. No. She tried again. You can't do that. She tried again. No, I'm not erasing anything. She hit him. Okay. You've just showed me how you'd like to escalate our interaction. Therefore, I will escalate to the same degree. You struck me once, I will strike you once. Right there. If I could pause on her fist. Now we're going to do an equal trade. You want to exchange fisticuffs. I will oblige 1 for 1. That is very fair. I think he's being very fair. 1 for 1. I'm not saying this is good that it happened, but if she is going to escalate, she will learn, how do women get to this stage? And then she's going to cry 911. She's going to look for the cops. But I guarantee you, she's a lefty feminist that likes the defund the police. They're all about defunding the police until something bad happens to them, and then they run for the police. The disrespect of men is how this happens. And you notice a thread, disrespecting men.
All right. So I want to unpack this one. This was very difficult for me to even see, but apparently this is happening. Violence is absolutely the last resort ever. However, this is a teachable moment, ladies. For those of you all who are screaming equality about everything, I think we can learn from the consequence that happened to this woman. She was belligerent and she put her fist up against a man. She tried to hit him, or maybe she did hit him, and he responded in kind. And look at what one punch from her to him did, nothing, but one punch from him to her got her laid out on the ground. So 2 points for me on this one. Ladies, be very, very careful playing with fire here, because I know this as a mom of teenagers. Even if they don't intend to be, even if they're just roughhousing, boys are naturally stronger. Marcus grabbed my hand once just to grab it, and it might have broken my finger. I don't know. We do not have testosterone the way that they do. So we are not equal. So be very careful escalating to the level of physicality. I wouldn't do it at all, ever. The second point, did you notice when she hit the ground, the first thing she said is 911. You were all big and bad. And I know when you dial 911, you don't expect to see me in my apron show up. You want somebody to come defend you. So be very careful, ladies. All of this talk about men ain't this and we don't need them. The first thing that you want to rescue you out of a problem that you created is the same thing that you are disrespecting. And you see what's happening now. The men are making examples of us. The men are just basically saying, you know what, you asked for it. So be very careful, because it could end very badly for you. What would you add, Lucy?
And I think about, if this woman is married, I think about the poor husband that has to deal with that behavior. She has zero, she has lack of impulse control. She couldn't say, you know what, I don't know what the argument was about, and walk away. Why would you want to go this for that with a man, a random man, and then get in his face without knowing what the consequence is? You know, anytime that you're going face to face with a man, trust me, you're not going to win. You are not going to win no matter what you do, because they're built to, you know, to defend, to be men. And if you're going to, you know, attack a man the way she did, what did she think was coming back? The guy held off a little bit, and I bet you that he only touched her. If he would have really punched her, she would have been out. So why would, as a woman, a normal, feminine, elegant woman, why would you want to handle your affairs that way? Why? It makes no sense.
None at all. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Rodney says, I've heard it said that women are born on the top of the mountain while men are born in the valley below. Men have to earn their way to the top while women lose their value by their conduct. That is so true, ladies. And I think we don't give men enough credit for how they have to build themselves. And if you don't believe me, look at the man who is still figuring it out. He has not arrived yet. You all dismiss them left, right, and center, and that's fine. Men know that they have to bring something to the table to be able to ask for time and attention from you. So at least give respect for the work that they have done. What did you do to show up as worthy? I'll wait. Let us continue. The Condemned says, it's truly unfortunate that many women feel compelled and have been convinced that they are justified to put hands on any man because they feel some type of way, then cry foul when equality strikes. Yeah, this is just, again, all new to me. I do not live in this world. I do not have chaotic friends. I'm enough harmless chaos in my own life. But ladies, did you hear the commentator say that it's gotten to this point because the women haven't been checked? And I am not saying that this is how you have to deal with it, but the only way that she even thought to ball up her fist against a man, this has happened before. This is not the first time, and she's gotten away with it. Obviously, she got a consequence, but let's look at the situation here. They're in a public place, some type of parking lot. She did something in public, he recorded. I tell the boys, as soon as you step out of that house, assume you're on camera. That's the world that we live in. So she did something in public that he recorded. And she was embarrassed by her own conduct. Shout out to Vivian in the finishing school. She's embarrassed by her own conduct. Instead of saying, God, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have had that outburst. Let me do better. Let me get in my car and go. This is a stranger to her. Probably never see that man again. But you want to buck up against this man and challenge him and yell at him and tell him, delete that footage. And he said no. And you continue on until you thought the way to get what you wanted was to ball up your little fist and hit him after trying to take his property. And he punched you one time and you're laid out on the floor. All of that could have been avoided by her conduct. Her initial conduct, whatever she did to embarrass herself, then you could have left the scene. Then you could have asked him, do you mind deleting that? And if he said no, fine. Shouldn't have done it, lesson learned. But this is what's happening, ladies. And again, 41 and homeless, nobody is going to rescue you from yourself. And I'm telling you, I talk to my man all the time about relationships. He was like, babe, our generation, Gen X, we're like the last ones to really look at women like sugar and spice. He said, these new men, these new kids, they're going to let you have it. I don't know any man in my age group that would have punched a woman, even if their mother or aunt or whatever is being belligerent. But ladies, be careful what you wish for. Bert is saying, don't come to me like that. The men are not going to tolerate it. And yeah, we all saw what happened. Let's go back in.
She didn't appreciate a man. She didn't appreciate a man. She disrespects a man. They disrespect and don't appreciate men. She only wants to use men, which is disrespecting and not appreciating them. She disrespected and hates men.
I do not cook for my husband.
Here's another one. This went viral as all hell the other day. This went viral as all hell the other day. Actions have consequences. Now this has music. I don't know if I can leave it in for YouTube because YouTube's weird, but we'll get to enjoy it here on Rumble and Locals.
I do not cook for my husband. I only cook for my children. My husband will be making his own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number 2, I do not help him pay any bills. So if he is short on the rent, on utilities, or anything like that, it is not my problem. I will not be helping him out. His job is to provide for his family. So I am not financially contributing to any of the bills. Number 3, I do not do his laundry. I have my own laundry and my children's laundry to do. So he could do his own. I won't help him put it away. I won't help him fold anything. Like, that's his responsibility.
This is what so many men worry about, is being stuck with, and this is what happens after you marry her, after you give her kids. Well, actions have consequences.
I've been crying all morning long. My husband told me that I needed to pack my stuff and out the house. So I have my bag and I'm about to start packing. I literally have nowhere to go. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
I guess you should have thought about that before you disrespected him and didn't live up to your end of the bargain. Maybe you should think about, well, I'm not going to do anything for him. And what happens if he stops doing things for me? But they can't see that. They can't see that because they're selfish and narcissistic. That's what happens. Here's another example.
Y'all, Lucy is giving it to us. This one was tough, but again, ladies, the disrespect of this woman to say that man is all on his own with food, with laundry, even if he's, having a hard time with bills, you're not going to contribute anything. But the one that got me, she said, I take care of me and my children. Who gave you those children? How do you even have children to call your own? And then you disrespect their father like that. And again, ladies, we have talked about this publicly and also in the finishing school. The internet is forever. If you're having a bad moment, I don't know why on earth women want to go to the internet to vent and then tell the whole world what you are or not going to do in your relationship. And here's the other thing, ladies, because I will say it, we are short-sighted. Like he said, we don't think about the consequences. Shout out to another celebrity who graduated from her marriage and now is finding herself in regret. Men watch how you treat other men. This woman has made herself now radioactive to any man, because if I, as a man, am watching you disrespect the man who provided for you and gave you children, if you did that to your husband, the one who was sworn to protect you until death, and you fixed your mouth to get on the internet to say that foolishness, you're lucky he put you out. Figure it out on your own. No man worth his salt will touch her again. She will be single for the rest of her life, because men do not appreciate, they don't expect that they are the special snowflake the way we women do. So if they see you disrespect your ex-husband or anybody else, they'll be like, oh, okay, I see how she is. And you will be left alone and radioactive. So watch that. Your conduct matters. What would you add, Lucy?
I also wanted to go back to when she said, me and my children. What if those children aren't even his? What if what if that man had already taken that woman with other children and she's talking badly about him like that? I also noticed that behind her, there was like a truck. I'm thinking maybe the husband is like a blue collar, trucker, he goes out, tries to, make a living for the family. And she's talking about him that way. I am glad that he had enough sense to say, you know what, we're done, quickly out of it. Because again, that was probably not the first time or the second time or the third time that she spoke badly about their relationship. And, and he did the right thing. Ladies, there is a consequence to speaking like that and disrespecting the man that is caring for you. It's just unbelievable that she had the strength to put that on for the world to see, not even thinking, maybe I should edit it. Maybe I should just delete it. No, she went ahead and let it out. And then that was the consequence. That's what happens when you think that the world revolves only around you and your children, and your husband that's breaking his back for you knows that you're speaking about him like that to the world.
Ooh, my blood is boiling as a boy mom. Ooh wee. But yes, ladies, learn from these women that are making horrible life decisions. I never even thought about that. What if she brought children into the relationship and then she's talking about this man that way? That's another reason why men, mine included, like, you got to finish what you started, then we will have our time. Some of you all are new here. Lucy and I are both divorcees, remarried, and then in a long term. Lucy's remarried, I'm in a long term. So you can exit a relationship with grace. Divorce is hard. It is difficult. It's not anything to celebrate or throw a party, but the way that you carry yourself in those hard times really speaks to your character and who you are, ladies. Life is going to throw curveballs at all of us, but coming out here acting all big and bad, now you're going to be homeless in the tiny house and van too. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Rodney says, men are always aware of violence by proxy when dealing with a woman. Women must be aware of the violence inherent in unbridled masculinity. Yes, I've seen this. And unfortunately, we have so many women who have dismissed men. You don't really see who men are and how they work every day to keep that dragon bridled. I have a lot of men in my family. I'm a boy mom. I've seen all of the phases of it. And It is, when channeled well, they are our heroes, like Lucy says, but do not provoke something. You do not want that consequence. Next level says these women will involve their male family members in a situation like this and then lie about what happened. That's tragic and true. How many men have lost their lives running in head first because of a chaotic woman? That's why the men are just saying, you know what, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth their life. Jurgen says she got what she asked for. Ladies, I'm telling you, the men, they do not care. Nobody is coming to rescue you. It's going to get better, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. Ferris says, anytime a man punches a woman, we're not going to, yeah. Sinji says, currently at Candyland in a place full of crazy toddlers, and my daughter's going crazy off indoor playlands, and you love the live. Thank you. Thank you for the distraction. Yes, we definitely want to learn from this. We want our women to win. We want you to make good choices, and we want you to learn from the mistakes of others. All right, you all are having fun with that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of women think it's something to play with. I don't think it's funny at all. Jurgen says anyone who hears something like that knows they're better off alone. All right, let's go back in.
This is the entitlement that women have, young women have. Are there men like this? Yes, of course there are. But part of our amusement is tuning into why. This is a minute long. Listen to this woman, this young lady, explain and be upset why she lost her job.
I just got fired from my job for being sick. I got hired on March 7th. Somehow I got sick during my interview and I brought home a virus. Told them I wasn't going to be there. Finally get my training done and I'm in the classroom and I get a stomach bug. This is like a week and a half after I got over the cold. At this point, I'm pissing out my ass. So I told them I can't come to work.
Gosh, what a charming and feminine and lovely lady. So far, she's managed to burp and explain how she pisses out of her ass because I know construction workers that talk like this and I'd be like, dude, that's gross.
I'm on the toilet. After the stomach bug, I caught a head cold. And I mean, these were like back to back to back. There was literally a couple of days in between each of these sicknesses. I have a head cold now and I have a fever. Can't go to work. In between all of this, me getting sick, I had 2 court hearings that I had to be there for. That should have been excused. I finally get over the head cold and I get a fucking chest cold, which I have right now. So then on Tuesday, I called out because I had a fever. I was really sick. I get called to go to fucking HR's office and she fucking terminates me for my attendance.
She acts shocked. I got hired, sick. Training, sick. Went into work, sick. Then sick again. What is this? Out of months, she went into work. Of course you're going to get terminated. Why don't they understand this? Because they're children. Some of these are just grown-up children, and when they grow up without any consequences for their actions, this is what happens.
All right. I really don't have much to say about that one besides the fact she was disgusting again on the internet for the whole world to see. And now that's how you'll be remembered. But ladies, we've got to grow up. We've got to realize that nobody is coming to save us. And these big jobs that you fight for, at the end of the day, these companies, you are a resource and you have a job to deliver. Nobody's going to give you, a there, or I understand. Life happens. But if you don't show up to do the job, they will find somebody that will, and you can just start over. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, and immediately the company said, you know what, if we get this from her on the first week, imagine if we allow it to go for a month or 2 months. They said, you know what, we better, cut it loose. We haven't invested much on this young lady. She can find another job somewhere else, but not with us.
Absolutely. So I see you all in the chat making some jokes, but Condemned is saying that the way that last woman was speaking about what she didn't do for her husband seems like she was proud of that. She was proud of that until he told her to get out. It is unacceptable. And I'm glad that man put his foot down because, ladies, I've said this before, respect is more important to men than love. And that was incredibly disrespectful. This whole stream is about women disrespecting men. and we're seeing the consequences. So ladies, don't let it be you. International Quiet Storm is here. He says, it's a simple litmus test. Ladies, if you wouldn't put your hands on your father, don't put your hands on a man. Your father is different from you. If your father is different to you than a random man on the street. I just think we just need to be more respectful overall. All right, let's go back in.
I'm not going to read this out loud. I'm just going to click it. This is where we are. And what blows my mind about this, if you're just listening, I'm sorry, I'm not reading this out loud. What blows my mind about this is she thought it would be a good idea to post this on the internet. She thought this would be a good idea to post this on the internet. Like hashtag, I'm not reading that one. Postpartum OCD. Oh, this isn't good. Okay, this is someone that's mentally ill. This has 231,000 likes on this, guys. This has 231,000 likes on it. This is someone who's mentally ill. She posted postpartum OCD. Does that mean she's had a child? I mean, postpartum you have after a child. Did she recently have a child? I don't. Moving on. I normally have themes to this stuff, but there aren't any themes. There don't need to be any themes. It's just, here's today's theme: women crazy. How do you categorize all the nonsense and all the insanity in one video and have it be anything meaningful other than the world is going crazy, women are going crazy, dating is going crazy, nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing does. There's just no way, nothing. It doesn't make sense. This Paraguayan Olympic swimmer, Luna Alonso, launches Only Fools site. She went viral during the Olympics, and I called it out. Many of you called it out. She went viral. She failed to qualify, or she didn't do a great job. She was there as a backup or something. She's a very pretty girl. No arguments there. She's a very attractive woman. And she started acting the fool, and she got kicked out of the Olympic Village because of her acting a fool. She got kicked out of the Olympic Village. And I saw this and her Instagram photos, and I said, I bet she's going to be on Only Fools. I bet she's going to be on Only Fools. And many of you said the same thing. And now she's on Only Fools. And she's going to charge $35 a month for her Only Fools. And there are going to be young men who are stupid, who are going to pay $35 a month to see a woman like this, that you can see 100,000 of them on any of the other various websites, as well as www.google.com. So from Olympic swimmer to Only Fools, always a bailout, never responsible. Last thing I want to talk about.
All right. I'll talk about the Olympic swimmer. I don't know what she did that got her put out of the Olympic Village, but again, the skill that she thinks that she has, like he said, you can find that on Instagram. You can find that anywhere. It's a dime a dozen, ladies. So if that is what you have relied on to get what you want out of life, you're going to find yourself in an area where it's not as valuable to the men as you think it is. And instead of working on the relationship skills that can help you have a real future, the internet is littered with women who have gone to do such things as posting pictures of their body. And then they realize, you know what? Now, again, I'm radioactive, because no man wants his wife or his woman to be available for $35 a month or whatever it is. What would you add, Lucy?
And think about how narrow that thought is, that she made it to the Olympics. She didn't qualify, but she could have done many other things to keep her, status as an Olympic player. What does she do? She goes to OnlyFans to ruin her career from now on. again, is those just immature level thinking without saying, wait a minute, how is this going to work out for me 5, 10, 15 years from now when I have a husband and I want to have children and they know that I have an Only Fools page, or I used to, and when his little friends come over to me saying, hey, this one looks like your mom. So again, is that a lack of willing to think ahead that keeps those women in trouble?
Absolutely. Rodney says relationship skills take hard work and dedication. Women with these skills are priceless in a man's eyes. Thank you for saying that. This video is a little bit all over the place, but ladies, the red thread at the end of the day, and I love that Rodney says this is a skill, which means it can be learned, which means it's something that it can improve. So if you look at your life, ladies, honestly, if you don't have the relationship outcome that you want, you are not showing up in a way that makes men look at you like this is one to keep around for the long term. So whatever you're doing, it can be corrected, hopefully, if you haven't gone to the internet to put everything out there. And like I said, Lucy and I have a course that's starting next week. But if nothing else, watch the outcomes that these women are having and see how you can do better and be better. Next Level says zero self-awareness. And that's why we're here. We want you all to know. Lily says some people are attached to keeping a certain lifestyle. Well, then hopefully that lifestyle keeps you warm when winter is coming, because winter is here. Let's see what else. Hello, Killis is here. Lindbergh says the only fools women fail to realize that what they do never goes away. Not to mention, if they have a child, like Lucy just said, the child will be affected by their actions. Ladies, it's true. It's not just about what we want when we want it. The men that we want have built a reputation. The way that they have succeeded, it costs them something, and they're not going to throw it away just for a pretty face. So if you come with a lot of baggage, if people can look you up online, if you have a reputation of just being, like Lucy says, a liability, nobody is going to hang his legacy on that. So be careful about being short-sighted and making decisions that seem like fast money or a little bit of attention or that thrill right now. You can make yourself radioactive for the long term, and then nobody will take you seriously. All right, let's go back in and wrap it up.
Now, I'm going to mute this because I do want this to go on YouTube as well. I want you to look at this. This kind of blows my mind. You've got a young boy here that looks to be 9, 8, maybe 10. I mean, if he's double digits, it's very, very young of age. He's driving a John Deere tractor to pull up to the harvester to dump off the grain. And here's what blew my mind. Let me see if you can hear it.
5. About 5.
If you hear the voice, I thought it was his dad in the harvester. I thought it was his dad in the harvester and the kid helping his dad out. This is what flipped me out about this. The dad is the one filming, and this kid and his brother, who's right around the same age, who's also a very young man, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, also a very young man, is driving the harvester. So his two kids are already learning how to run the farm. When you look at these two young gentlemen who've learned how to program the tractors to automatically run at the right speed and to line themselves up, because he's adjusting his speed here. And dad says, I'm just the paparazzi at this point. When the two kids are learning how to run the farm, and I think you could barely see the other kid over there. And now, of course, some people are saying child labor. It's not child labor. The father's there. He's teaching them. It's not father. It's kids helping out their father because they love him. They want the family to do well. They respect him. And I guarantee you that father more than likely is going to give the kids an allowance or let them have something special that they want. But this is how you teach kids. When you have young men like this growing up today, with some young men growing up like this, and some women growing up the way they are, is there any surprise or any wonder that these two shall never meet? That these young men will not want to have anything to do with these women? It's like they come from two different worlds. And I know a lot of us on these, like my channel here, or even if you watch other men's content, a lot of us men, we want young men. We would raise young men like this. Matter of fact, a lot of you guys that have kids, you raised your children, your young men to be like this. How do those young men operate in a world where women just do whatever they want, however they want, without any responsibility? You take the women that we've just shown in this video.
That just warms my heart. We've seen a lot in this video. Oh, Next Level coming in with the $10. Thank you so much. He says, paying my tithes to the Holy House of Femininity. You're too kind and elegance. Thank you, ladies, for all that you do. Blessings to you both. Thank you. Thank you all so much for the support and the engagement. There was a lot that was disturbing in this video, but I'm so glad that it's ending on these farm boys. And, you know, I'll give a little bit of story time. My ex-husband worked a lot with his hands. And like I always say, as a reformed modern woman with all this book learning, you know, I bought into the lie that corporate and college teaches us that, you know, we're better than. But one of the things that I admired then and admire now is how he has taught the boys. And you all know the boys now live with their father. We co-parent really well. They're 15 and 17, and they can do so much. And I am so grateful for that kind of teaching. And what he said, the commentator said about where are the men that are, like Lucy said, doing that backbreaking work, and then they come home to a woman that disrespects them. I'm not cooking for you. I'm not doing laundry. I'm not doing anything. These men have skills that I know I don't have. We had a parent-teacher meeting scheduled. My ex-husband was going to pick up Marcus from school, and we were going to meet there because we show up as a family at all times. And you all may know I'm an Airbnb host. And I had a young man, 20-something, who was renting a room. And I was on my way to this parent-teacher meeting, and my car wouldn't start. You know, the battery was clicking. And I was like, oh, shoot. So called my ex-husband, and he said, do you want me to come by and, you know, give a jump off or do whatever? And I said, no, I have a guest. I have somebody. I'll ask him if he can help. You don't have to go out of your way. So as a host, I always go above and beyond. I don't have to cook for my guests, but y'all know I cook all the time. So the way I was raised, if I'm cooking, you get a plate. So I had been feeding this 20-something-year-old man, happy to do it. And I was like, hey, do you have a moment? My car won't start. Can you jump my car? So pushed it out of the driveway, and he pulls his car up to it, and he gets out his phone, and he starts watching YouTube videos on how to jump a car. And I was having a moment because I was like, I'm not used to this. I thought this was just something that you would know, the type of men that I know, they just kind of know how to do this thing. And I was finding myself getting frustrated. He was doing his best, but he was not prepared. So for the men that are prepared, my ex-husband called to check on me. He was like, hey, you got the car started? I picked up Marcus. We're on our way. And I'm like, no, he's trying. He's watching YouTube videos. He was like, watching YouTube videos. Made a detour, came to the house. My ex-husband gets out of the car. Marcus, over here, just starts ordering stuff. He puts his bare hands into the engine, and it's doing the thing with the black and the red and the negative, and I don't know. He's like, Marcus, get in the car, turn the engine, wait. It was just this whole thing that I could not do. Maybe some of you women can do it. I can't. Immediately, I felt myself relax. I felt like everything was going to be okay. And I was so grateful that my boys are having that type of upbringing where they will be useful. So how dare their women not be useful? I just give you all that example to say there still are men out here that want to give their best. And ladies, if you do not reciprocate in kind, you will find yourselves alone. And as a mother, I'm telling you, I know what the boys are being put through. And so my expectation is they can pick who they want to, but she needs to be working just as hard as they are because we are raising them to be ready at any moment. What would you add, Lucy?
That is fascinating how, unfortunately, he had to learn by watching a YouTube video. And I'm wondering, you know, did he have a father figure in his life that was what that did, or did he, that he wasn't able to learn those skills from that father figure. It's interesting on the video about the boys working the farm. Look at, he said that the comments were talking about child labor, and I guarantee you those comments were from women, because we women tend to want to baby our men, our young men. It takes another man to teach those boys to become men. And we were watching it, you know, the dad was just watching them, allowing them to do what they needed to do to learn that skill.
Absolutely. I see you all in the comments. Thank you again. Next level. Bert says, we had to do stuff like that when we were young. That's what made us the men we are today. Absolutely. Rodney says, men can live with a sore back, but men cannot live with a broken heart. Ah, it gets me. That's true. And ladies, I don't think we appreciate, it takes men a long time because they're literally putting their life on the line. So they vet long and thorough. But once you have a man's heart, if you do not treat that with care and gently, you deserve to be alone. Next level says, did I hook up the cables? No, I did not. I'm the one getting the refreshments. I'm standing out of the way. I know my role, and that is not it. Let's finish the video and then wrap it up.
For, I don't know, the last 45 minutes or whatever. I want you to see this. I want you to see this video. I want you to see a video of this wife, of this woman. Because when men see women that are like this woman, this is a man's standard. Women say they want a man that's a millionaire and all the sevens and athletic, and he's got to have money and he's got to let me do whatever I want in the world, and he needs to support me and stand me up. That's what women want. I'm going to show you what men want. I think most men, maybe not all of you, you may disagree. I want to show you what men want.
Matt and Danielle Davis were only married for 7 months when Matt was in a devastating motorcycle accident in 2011, leaving him on life support and in a coma. Doctors told Danielle that there was a 90% chance that her 22-year-old husband would never wake up, and they recommended taking him off life support. But Danielle refused to give up and brought Matt home to take care of him 24/7. She would change his feeding tube, physically move him to prevent bed sores, and even administer his daily 20 medications. Remarkably, Matt opened his eyes. He began attempting to communicate after being in a coma for 2.5 months, but he had no memory of dating or marrying his wife. Danielle had been keeping track of his recovery.
Doctor said, you know, if this were me, I would want my family to pull the plug.
You fought for me the whole time so hard.
Yes.
And if you really think of it, that's the reason I'm here.
And with a lot of hard work and physical therapy, Matt has been able to do the unthinkable.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah.
No one ever imagined that he would be able to one day walk, ride a bike, rock climb, or even drive a car, but he has beaten all the odds.
What do you think?
I'm loving this.
I bring this up as a little last minute offering of hope. If you think about it, there's not much out there.
Matt and Danielle.
This is a relatively young couple. I don't know what year this was filmed. There are women like this that are out there. If you look at Christopher Reeve's wife, she was with him all through everything. Now, granted, yes, he was very rich and very successful, but she stayed with him. Today, Hollywood actresses would bail on a husband like that. This couple didn't have anything. There are good women out there. There are. But it's becoming increasingly hard to find. And when men think about good women, it's not the women that bring all the money. It's not the women that support it. It's women that would stand by a man's side through thick and thin like this. I think that's beautiful. And I think there are women out there that would do it. But as I've said a million times before, and I'll say it a million times again, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And it's going to be pretty tough on you.
All right. So yes, this one was heavy, but absolutely wanted to end on that good note. And it is a needle in a needle stack. But ladies, we just want to open your eyes and have you come up out of the world that we think is all roses to realize what men are up against. And again, if you have a good one, hold on, because not only are the men in general not coming to rescue us from our own self-inflicted wounds, they're moving on. Some of them are just kind of giving up, but like, where did I see? Cheryl says, well, at least he tried. Of course, the young men who tried to help me with my jumper cables. That's fine. He did try. But ladies, if you're being honest with yourself, you know you want the man who can deliver. So all I'm saying is that if we want that from our men, what standard are we holding ourselves to? When your man asks you for something, when your husband expects something, are you giving him your best effort, or are you just saying you can do your own? And yes, there are some good women out there, and I love that. Of course, that's an extreme case, and I'm so happy that he's on the mend. That's devastating to have that type of accident and injury, but that's what men think about when they hit that door every day to do that backbreaking work, to sit in a job that they hate, with a boss that they don't like, with coworkers that they can't stand. They're thinking about the sacrifices that they're making for their woman, their wife, their children, their legacy. So make sure that you are worthy of that. Or if you want to do it yourself, you can absolutely join the workforce and put it on your back until you're 65. But we definitely need to show respect to our men. What would you say to close this out, Lucy?
Yes, and I think that those are the things that we women need to put ourselves in that position. If my husband, God forbid, lost this ability to move, will I be able to stay with him along the way throughout? Because that's what tells you whether you are willing to, be with that person for better or for worse, or you're just with that person just because he can offer you something for the time.
Absolutely. So yes, as we end, Jay says you weren't baby. Yeah, I mean the times have just changed. So ladies, believe me, just like you're looking for a real one, the men are looking for them. And because the men buy the rings and propose, you need to be ready when he is. The men are not waiting on us. And yeah, unfortunately, marriages are just growing apart. So I'm glad you all appreciated this stream. We believe that we can learn from other people's mistakes and get better. And yes, a lot of men have left, but like Jürgen says, he had a stroke and he learned a lot after that. So we're so glad that you're with us, Jürgen. And these are the times that teach us who's really in our corner. And Rodney says a good woman will recharge her man or husband for the daily struggle. So on that note, we'll go ahead and end here. Again, registration is open. You have just about 6 days left. Aw, Swab D coming in with the $10. Thank you so much. You're never late. Thank you for supporting. Thank you so much to Next Level as well for the $10. So ladies, if you do not have real relationship skills, but you want to learn, Lucy and I have a course. It starts a week from today, Saturday, November 2nd. Link is at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com, and the code is in the banner for you. We will also have the finishing school. If you need overall personal development, we'll be doing that again in January. So with that being said, we'll let you all have your evening. Thank you so much. Thank you for a very interesting video, Lucy. And until then, adios.